Hare
Kunjali Hari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjali Hari Jaya Radha Madhava
Kunja Bihari
Gopi Jana Bala Gopi Jana Bala Everybody I don't know if I need this. There's no speakers, the only speakers there.
You can leave it off.
Yeah.
Might as well bring it.
Just in the way. So what will we throwing off? What are we throwing off? Prashadam or saris or you know like as
Prashadam, saris, clothing, incense, bangles.
What?
Really?
And some spiritual books weren't throwing off, but were handed down selectively.
Wow.
Mostly by the Temple's president, whose name I cannot remember. Yogendra. Yeah, he was doing all of the books, Bhagavatam's books.
Yeah, that sounds ecstatic. But I knew if I did it, it would have been. Did you have prashadam?
There was the Louisiana, the New Orleans temple provided prashadam for us for the day. It wasn't spicy.
Wow.
There was a pasta and a khichdi and like a pasta.
Can we rewind the tape and I can go back and do it?
You can just start. Take two.
Take two, yeah. But it was, I can't handle it. I'm too. But anyway.
It was very nice.
I bet it was. Yeah, I love doing it. So, where was I? Jasodanandana, Rajadanandana, Jasodanandana, Rajadanandana, Jasodanandana, Rajadanandana, Jasodanandana, Bhagavatam ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devin Sarasatim Vyasam To Jayamudiriyet. Before reciting Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, we should first offer our respectful obeisances to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Narayan, to Narayan Rishi, the Supremost Human Being, Mother Saraswati, the Goddess of Learning, Srila Vyasadeva, the author, and to Srila Prabhupada, our spiritual master and founder Acharya. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale, Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namaste. Namaste Saraswati Deve, Gauravali Pachane, Nivasesha Sunyavari Praskita Desadana. Jai Krishna. So we're going to just have a little thing. One thing I was thinking about doing after I read this, you know, I mean, you can think about it, that instead of me actually like giving a class, because this is all about the incarnations of Krishna, and he's unlimited. He's got, I mean, it's like you were saying yesterday, but I was thinking about it. It's like there's so many incarnations, and there's so many pastimes, and then there's, on top of that, even there's creation. There's so many amazing, like a spider, for instance, it has mystical power. Everything about Krishna is so unlimited. You know, like they say, God is great. Well, there's, you know, you can't really, you know, how great is he? I mean, it's like, there's no way that we can contain it. We can contain all the information about Krishna. So I was thinking, maybe we could just, after I read, we'll see how everybody feels about it. You think of your favorite incarnation? Or your favorite pastime of an incarnation? Or the favorite part of Krishna's creation, that something, you know, mystical to you, and awesome, and you share it. You would just see how it goes, like that. Otherwise, you're going to have to listen to me. So it's the first word is Nandam Cha Mokshati Bayat Varunasha Pasad Nandam Cha Mokshati Bayat Varunasha Pasad Nandam Cha Mokshati Bayat Varunasha Gopan Bilesu Vihitan Maya Sununa Cha Gopan Bilesu Vihitan Maya Sunana Cha
Gopan Bilesu Vihitan Maya Sunana Cha
Ani
Apritam
Nishi Shayanam Atishramena Ani Apritam Nishi Shayanam Atishramena Lokam Vikuntam Upanishati Gokulam Sma Lokam Vikuntam Upanishati Gokulam Sma
Lokam Vikuntam Upanishayati Gokulam Sma
Nandam Cha Mokshati Bayat Varunasya Pasad Nandam Cha Mokshati Bayat Varunasya Pasad Gopam Bilishu Pihitam Maya Sununa Cha Gopam Bilishu Pihitam Maya Sununa Cha Anapratam Nishi Sayanam Atishranena Vitam Isha Saya Atiranena Lokam Vikutam Upanishati Gokulam Sma
Lokam Vikutam Upanishati Gokulam Sma
Nandam Cha Mokshati Bayat Varunasya Pasad
Nandam Cha Mokshati Bayat Prasad
Gopam Bilishu Vipihitam Maya Suninam Cha
Gopam Bilishu Vipihitam Maya Suninam Cha
Anapritam Nishi Sayanam Atishramena Lokam Vikuntam Upanishati Gokulam Sma
Lokam Vikuntam Upanishati Gokulam Sma
Nandam Cha Mokshati Bayat Varunasya Pasad
Nandam Cha Mokshati Bayat Varunasya Pasad
Gopam Bilishu Pihitam Maya Sununa Cha
Gopam Bilishu Pihitam Maya Sununa Cha
Anapritam Nishi Sayanam Atishramena
Anapritam Nishi Sayanam Atishramena
Lokam Vikutam Upanishati Gokulam Sma
Lokam Vikutam Upanishati Gokulam Sma.
Someone else?
Nandam Cha Mokshati Bayat Varunasya Pasad
Nandam Cha Mokshati Bayat Varunasya Pasad
Gopan Vileshu Vihitan Maya Sununa Cha
Gopan Vileshu Vihitan Maya Sununa Cha
Anyapratam Nishi Shayanam Atishramena
Anyapratam Nishi Shayanam Atishramena
Lokam Vikuntam Upanishati Gokulam Sma
Lokam Vikuntam Upanishati Gokulam Sma
Nandam Cha Mokshati Bayat Varunasya Pasad
Nandam Cha Mokshati Bayat Varunasya Pasad
Gopan Vilesu Pihitam Maya Sunana Cha
Gopan Vilesu Pihitam Maya Sunana
Abhi Apritam Nisisayanam Atrisramena
Ani apitam nishi shayanam atisramena.
Lokam vikuntam upanishati gokulam sma.
Lokam vikuntam upanishati gokulam chama. Okay, so now we'll do the word for word. Nandam.
Nandam.
Unto Nanda.
Unto Nanda.
The father of Krishna.
The father of Krishna.
Cha.
Cha.
Also.
Also.
Mokshati.
Mokshati. Saves.
Bayat.
Bayat.
From the fear of.
From the fear of.
Varunasha.
Varunasha.
Of Varuna.
Of Varuna.
The demigod of water.
The demigod of water.
Pasad.
Pasat.
From the clutches of. From the clutches of.
From the clutches of.
Gopan.
Gopan.
The coward men.
The cowherd men.
Vilesu.
Vilesu.
In the caves of the mountain.
In the caves of the mountain.
Vihitan.
Vihitan. Placed.
Maya Sununa.
Maya Sununa.
By the son of Maya.
By the son of Maya.
Cha.
Cha.
Also. Ani Apritam.
Ani Apratam.
Being very engaged during the daytime.
Being very engaged during the daytime.
Nishi.
Nishi.
At night.
At night.
Shayanam.
Shayanam.
Lying down.
Lying down.
Atish Ramena.
Atish Ramena.
Because of hard labor.
Because of hard labor.
Lokam.
Lokam.
Planet. Vikuntam.
Vakuntam.
Spiritual sky.
The spiritual sky.
Upanishati.
Upanishati.
He awarded.
He awarded.
Gokulam.
Gokulam.
The highest planet.
The highest planet.
Sma.
Sma.
Certainly.
Certainly.
So I'll read it and then we can repeat. Lord Krishna saved his foster father. Lord Krishna saved his foster father, Nanda Maharaj, from the fear of the demigod Varuna and released the coward boys from the caves of the mountain, for they were placed there by the son of Maya. Also to the inhabitants of Vrindavan, who were busy working during daytime and sleeping soundly at night because of their hard labor in the day. Lord Krishna awarded promotion to the highest planet in the spiritual sky. All these acts are transcendental and certainly prove without any doubt his Godhead. So please repeat. Lord Krishna saved his foster father.
Lord Krishna saved his foster father,
Nanda Maharaj.
Nanda Maharaj.
From the fear of the demigod Varuna.
From the fear of the demigod Varuna.
And released the cowherd boys.
And released the cowherd boys.
From the caves of the mountain.
From the caves of the mountain.
For they were placed there.
For they were placed there.
By the son of Maya.
By the son of Maya.
Also to the inhabitants of Vrindavan.
Also to the inhabitants of
Who were
Vrindavan.
busy working.
Who were busy working.
During daytime.
During daytime.
And sleeping soundly at night.
And sleeping soundly at night.
Because of their hard labor in the day.
Because of their hard labor in the day.
Lord Krishna awarded promotion to the highest planet.
Lord Krishna awarded promotion to the highest planet.
In the spiritual sky.
In the spiritual sky.
All these acts are transcendental.
All these acts are transcendental.
And certainly prove. Without any doubt. His Godhead.
His Godhead.
So, purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada.
Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Nanda Maharaj, the foster father of Lord Krishna, went to take his bath in the river Jamuna in the dead of night, mistakenly thinking that the night was already over. Thus the demigod Varuna took him to the Varuna planet just to have a look at the personality of God and Lord Krishna, who appeared there to release his father. Actually, there was no arrest of Nanda Maharaj by Varuna, because the inhabitants of Vrindavan were always engaged in thinking of Krishna, in constant meditation on the personality of Godhead, in a particular form of samadhi, or trance, of bhakti yoga. They had no fear of the miseries of material existence. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is confirmed that to be in the association of the Supreme Personality of Godhead by full surrender in transcendental love frees one from the miseries inflicted by the laws of material nature. Here it is clearly mentioned that the inhabitants of Vrindavan were extensively busy in the hard labor of their day's work, and due to the day's hard labor, they were engaged in sound sleep at night, So practically, they had little time to devote to meditation or to the other paraphernalia of spiritual activities. Everything done by them was spiritualized because everything was dovetailed in their relationship with Lord Shri Krishna. The central point of activities was Krishna, and as such, the so-called activities in the material world are saturated with spiritual potency. That is the advantage of the way of Bhakti Yoga. One should discharge one's duty on Lord Krishna's behalf, and all others' actions will be saturated with Krishna thought, the highest pattern of trance and spiritual realization. Lord Krishna, the translation to the verse is, Lord Krishna saved his foster father Nanda Maharaj from the fear of the demigod Varuna, and released the coward boys from the caves of the mountain, for they were placed there by the son of Maya. Also, to the inhabitants of Vrindavan, who were busy working during daytime and sleeping soundly at night because of their hard labor in the day, Lord Krishna awarded promotion to the highest planet in the spiritual sky. All these acts are transcendental and certainly prove, without a doubt, his Godhead. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Om Gyan Tamalanda Shagyananjana Salakaya Chaksurvamilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. There's a lot here. And when I was reading all these, just going back over, it's like I was saying, there's just, when you start, every now and then you get a glimpse of just how, how great Krishna is, and what there's no way for us to properly understand it, and how insignificantly small we are. We're so tiny, and this vast. So many different incarnations: Varaha, Nrsimha, Matsya, Kurma, Vamanadev, Ramachandra. He comes himself as the Supreme Personality of God in his original form, and performs these incredible pastimes one after another. They're all historic, and they actually happen. And then in the future there'll be Kalki. There's so many other incarnations that we may even not even know. I'm sure there's more incarnations and more pastimes. Even with Krishna's pastimes, in certain Puranas, there's lists of other pastimes that Krishna took place. Like I heard one devotee talking about that when Maharaj Yudhisthira wanted to do the Rajasuya sacrifice, so he had to send out the four brothers, Bhima, Arjuna, Sahadeva, and Gokula, to see if all the kings would have to submit to Yudhisthira his authority and surrender to him. Otherwise, if they didn't accept that, then they had to do battle. And then the Rajasuya sacrifice would be declare him to be the emperor of the world. So Bhima had to go to the east, and he went to Navadvip, and there was a very great king there. I just can't remember his name right now. And he wanted to see Krishna, so he said, "I don't accept Yudhisthira. I don't accept his authority." So then he had to do battle with Bhima, and it was a tremendous battle. And Bhima was like shocked at how powerful this king was. He was so determined, so much determination. And so finally, Krishna had to come and give support to Bhima. And then as soon as Krishna came, the king just surrendered immediately and said, "Okay, that's all right. I've got what I wanted. I wanted to see you, Krishna. I wanted to see the Supreme Personality of God. I wanted to get his darshan. And I knew if I fought Bhima and fought him with determination, that Krishna would come to his rescue." So, these are pastimes that we don't know about, but this one devotee, it was Bhakti Vikas Swami, and he knows all, knows different languages, and he was with Bhakti Churu Swami, and Bhakti Churu Swami was not saying anything contrary to it, but they're in the other Puranas, there are other pastimes of the Lord while he was on the planet. And just every day he was doing so many incredible, there was a forest fire. There was 2 forest fires that I'm aware of. The classic one, the one that everybody talks about, is when there's a really large blazing fire, and everyone's frightened. And then he just does this. He just goes, and he sucks the fire in. And then, but the other one is there's a huge forest fire, and Krishna and Balaram just do this. They blink their eyes, and they put this forest fire out. I mean, this isn't, how do you and so...
There's another one, another fire where all the snakes are got burned, do you remember?
That was with Jamatagni or something? Or?
All the snakes, there was a curse that snakes...
Not Jamatagni, that was Jamajaya after Mars Cricket.
Mm-hmm.
But then they stopped it. That was,
That's the third fire.
They had to stop that. Yeah, so you can just go on and on with all of Krishna's pastimes. And like here, all right, so it talks about, now one thing is that as a devotee, there's no, these individuals like Nanda Maharaj and Cowherd Men, they're all, they're sort of like, whatever they're doing for the pleasure of Krishna. So therefore, they had never incur any kind of sin, and they never have to, worry about the local authority. I mean, they have Krishna as their backup. He's the authority. Like if you, work for the government, you have a certain badge, and you can do things that you get on the plane faster or whatever. You have certain facilities that, or like I know this ambassador. That's what I was thinking. The ambassadors if you're you get diplomatic. What do they call it? Diplomatic immunity. So you can't arrest a diplomat from another country.
Or their family.
Or their family, right. They can do it, even if they're involved in a serious crime, you cannot arrest them. But they can be asked to leave the country. But they can double park in New York City. They can do whatever they want, pretty much. And that's a lot of times people use them for criminal acts. But that's the principle. The principle is, on a perverted reflection, that you work for the authority of the state, then you have immunity. So similarly, Krishna's devotees, they have immunity to these. Technically, of course, there's some debate whether or not Nanda Maharaj was violating the rule and taking bath too early in the river before the Dwadasi and Ekadasi fast was to break. He was in there and it was still considered night. So he was, what appeared to be, arrested by Varuna and brought to and Varuna he has a very beautiful city deep down in the oceans. All the jewels are coming from the ocean. And but he was doing this because he wanted to get Krishna's darshan. There's another case, Akura. Akura, he, all the time that Krishna was in Vrindavan, Kamsa was constantly sending all these very powerful mystic demons to kill him. Putana, Agasura, so many demons. And one of them else is also mentioned here, Vyoma. I think his name is Vyoma. And so he's killing the Trinavarta demon, who's a whirlwind. So many demons. And he's killing just as a little boy. He doesn't have an infant. As an infant, he kills a demon, just kicking his foot and knocking a cart over. Putana comes and gives her breast, acting as if she's a nurse, and to breastfeed him, but she smeared it with poison. And he accepts it, and then he sucks out not only the milk, but also her life air. But she still gets liberation. And he doesn't see it as an enemy. He sees her as someone who was coming to offer her breast milk, although she had evil intent. But like Akura, he is a devotee of Krishna. He's a pure devotee, and he was sent by Kamsa to get Krishna to come to Mathura so that he could arrange to finally do him in, to kill him. He had some big plan. He had, first we'll have the elephant, and if the elephant fails, then we'll have the two wrestlers. And if they fail, he had all these backup plans, but none of them were working. They just kept going on and on and on like this. The thing is that what happens with these materialists or asuras, we're in the prison house, and when they see Krishna, they think, oh, he's in the prison house too. He's just like us. So they think, well, yeah, we can maybe, he's got some powers and some tricks. But we also have no tricks. We also have powers. We can get rid of them. So they're constantly thinking about Krishna, but with evil intent. Now, Akrura was sent by Kamsa to get Krishna to come to Mathura, but he didn't have evil intent. He went on Kamsa's behalf, but he just really went because he wanted to have the association of Krishna. And so he was therefore not implicated in working with Kamsa because of his purity. He was doing it to help facilitate Krishna's pastime. So my point is that, like when these Nanda Maharaj technically might have been breaking some universal code by bathing in the river too early and was arrested, but he was they are Krishna's direct associates. So everything they're doing for Krishna. So therefore, it says, Savardama Parichaja Mamikam Sarnambaja Ahang Twang Savapepebyo Mokshyasami Masucha. Abandon all forms of religion, just surrender to me. I will protect you, have no fear. You will have no sinful reactions. So they're not getting any sinful reactions. They're not implicated in the social customs and laws, even if they appear to be breaking them. So, like when Krishna asked Yudhisthira to lie during the battle of Kurukshetra, he said, tell him Ashvatthama is dead. And Yudhisthira was so moral, I can't lie. I can't lie. He said, that elephant over there is Ashvatthama, he just died. Tell him that Ashvatthama died, the elephant, but don't say the elephant. So in that way he did it, But, and that was his mistake, because he just didn't realize that whatever you do for Krishna, that's above the material action and reaction karmic things. That's for the people who are in the prison house. Once you've surrendered to Krishna, now you've been paroled. You've been pardoned. Just like right now, we have a leader here, and he's pardoning people from jail. I mean, Prabhupada is giving us the opportunity through Lord Chaitanya's movement and through the Hare Krishna mantra to be pardoned for all of our sins. To be pardoned from this material world, from having to take birth again. And that's the way these coward men thought. So when, but this particular individual I don't want to get into it, but he's pardoning people for other reasons. So that's all I'll say. I was just going to say other reasons. He's not Krishna. He's not Krishna. That we know. So, although he's been in India. I shouldn't have even thought of his... I have to cleanse my brain for it. So anyway, so when they get arrested, they go down into Varuna's city, they're like, this is, serious, but they're not actually arrested. Varuna's not really treating them like prisoners. And then Krishna comes immediately and then they're shocked, they're amazed how much Varuna is in awe of Krishna, and he's offering everything and worshiping him, and they're thinking, wow. They get back to the village in Vrindavan, and they're thinking, maybe Krishna is not, maybe he's not just some mystic yogi, or maybe he's not just a demigod. Maybe he's actually the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Maybe we'll actually get salvation at the end of this life. They're living with him. They're in Gokula, but they're in a different kind of, it's called, it's the Yogamaya. They're in Yogamaya. They're not in Mahamaya. They're in the spiritual mind. They're not seeing Krishna as the supreme, absolute personality. Like it said that all these demigods are constantly coming down to Vrindavan, and not just the ones that make mistakes and try to challenge Krishna, and then after they get smashed, they have to offer all these prayers. But there are actually demigods regularly coming down to praise Krishna and glorifying him. And the cowherd boys are all kind of like, they find it very humorous. Now the demigods are taking it very seriously. You're the source of all creation. Everything is resting upon you like pearls snowing on a thread. You're the taste of water. You know, all the proper ways to glorify the Lord. And the cowherd boys, oh Krishna, oh you are this, you are that. But they just see Krishna as their friend that they go wrestling with. And they mock the monkeys and steal butter from their parents and feed it to the monkeys and to each other. And that's the way they see Krishna. So there's different levels of relationship with Krishna, but whatever relationship you have with Krishna, you're liberated from those sinful reactions. There's a verse, one in the Bhagavad Gita is Mang Chayo Vyapicharena Bhakti Yogena Sevati Saguna Samanti Chaitan Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate, and another one that kind of supports that. I know the first three lines, I can't remember the last line. It's Atakshi Krishna Namadi Nabhavet Indriyasway. I thought I know. Atakshi Krishna Namadi Nabhavet Indriyaswayam Sevamakihi Jiva Dao Swayam Eva Swayati Adak. And the translation is, because Krishna's form, qualities, pastimes, etc. are all on this absolute platform, material senses cannot, they are on the absolute platform, material senses cannot therefore appreciate them. When a conditioned soul is awakened to Krishna consciousness and and renders service, see they've made this print smaller, I think, renders service by using his tongue to chant the Lord's holy name and taste the remnants of the Lord's food. The tongue is purified, and one gradually comes to understand who Krishna is. Or, as another way of saying it, so as long as one is situated in duality on the sensual platform, gross or subtle realization of the supreme absolute truth is impossible. But being pleased by devotional service, the Lord reveals himself to the devotees. And I've heard a translation of both those verses, the one from the Gita, Mam Chayo Vyapicharena, and this one, that when the senses are saturated with bhakti or devotion, and when I think of saturated, I think of a rasgula or a gulab jamun, that's dripping. Have you ever had a gulab jamun? It's like, and it's just dripping with honey. That is saturated. The senses are saturated with devotion, with love. Then one can actually, is on the transcendental platform. One is actually tasting the pure nectar for which we're always hankering after. So, but otherwise, everything that we're doing, all of our work, is just, we're late. We're just, because we're seeing each other as the material body. Or I'm identifying as this material body. Like, I heard someone the other day give a really interesting explanation of the, humble as a blade of grass, tolerant as a tree. Don't expect any respect for yourself. Offer all respect to others. And I want to talk about the one about respect. And he was saying is that as long as you're thinking you're that body, then you're going to be upset if someone doesn't respect you, your body. But when you're on the transcendental platform, then that doesn't disturb you. But that doesn't mean that you don't have self-respect. You respect yourself, and the self is that I am a spirit soul, part and parcel of Krishna, who is embodied. So I have self-respect, and I can tolerate someone's disrespecting my external body, but because I realize that isn't me. I am a part and parcel of Krishna. I have a guru, or I have knowledge of the spiritual process, and I'm on the path, practicing the process. So I can tolerate someone being, rude, or tolerate not being respected or feeling part of a situation. I have my own understanding of who I am. And in that way, But if we're just working on the external platform, trying to do as much as we can for the body, it's like the example, I'm sure we all know it, it's the bird in the cage. You have this nice, beautiful bird in a cage, and you're really concerned about your decor in your home. And so the cage just looks kind of, it doesn't really work. So you hire a cage interior designer who comes in, it's going to my own little version of this, and I said, oh, this will never do. We have to, I know exactly what we do, because it's just clashing with the pillows and the couch here and the wallpapers. Oh, we have to, so we're going to paint it a different color. I think a few little, nice little jewels coming down the bar like that, Then we can drape nice threads of beads around the cage, and we were all involved in fixing up the cage. And meanwhile, forgot about the bird. And the bird is like, so what's wrong with that cage? And what's wrong with that bird? And look at all we're doing for it. At least, doesn't he appreciate how we're fixing up his cage? All he does is complain. He's always depressed. What's wrong with him? Maybe see a doctor or something, but meanwhile, you're not feeding the bird. In other words, we're working on the external platform to satisfy the material senses and the material relationships, but we're not satisfying the person, the soul, but with spiritual activities. Therefore, we're always going to be upset, depressed, or up, then down, happy, sad, successful, unsuccessful. All of these different experiences will be there. So, anyway, if we can saturate ourselves in these pastimes and hear about these pastimes, and there's so many of them. I just want to quickly mention, I did say, anyway, it said here about Varuna, but it also said he saved the coward boys from the cave, the person, they were put in the cave by the son of Maya, and I couldn't think of who that was. I did all this research. First I thought, it's not Brahma. Brahma did take the coward boys and put them in the cave, but he's not the son of Maya. Sometimes they refer to Agasur's mouth as a cave, because the coward boys thought it was a cave, but that's not the case. It was actually this demon, his name is Vyoma. What did I do with the other pair of glasses? So, I feel like Columbo, so I was looking for something in the pocket. Here it is. So, this is after he's killed the Keshi demon. Krishna kills the Keshi demon, who's a horse, powerful horse, and it's really, the thing's charging him, trying to kick him with his feet, and then finally, Krishna puts his fist into its mouth, like a hot iron rod, and kills the Keshi demon. And it's not just a horse, this is like a powerful being. And then Narada Muni comes along and starts glorifying off in the side, in the bushes. Starts telling him, I can't wait to see you do this, and I can't wait to see when you do that. Talking about all these activities that haven't happened yet. I know the day after tomorrow you're going to kill the two wrestlers, and then you eventually kill Kamsa. And I know you're going to, free these 16,000 princesses, and you'll be able to marry them. I can't wait to see all these pastimes. And Krishna's listening to him. Okay, all right, thank you. And then he goes back, and then he comes out, and the coward boys are playing a game, and it goes. It says, thus Krishna is eternally engaged in the transcendental activities of Vrindavan with his friends, the coward boys and gopis. But sometimes he exhibits the extraordinary prowess of the Supreme Personality of Godhead by killing different types of demons. So later that morning, Krishna went to play with his coward boyfriends. This is after he's killed Keshi, and then Narada Muni comes and tells him, or glorifies him, and tells him, I'm really can't wait to see these things that I know are coming up. And Krishna's listening respectfully, and then he goes back to the coward boys. And then it says that all the coward boyfriends were on top of the Govardhan hill. They were imitating the play of thieves and police. Some of the boys became police constables, and some became thieves, and some took the role of lambs. While they were thus playing their childhood pastimes, a demon known by the name of Vyomasura, the demon who flies in the sky, appeared on the scene. He was the son of another great demon called Maya. These demons can perform wonderful magic. Vyomasura took the part of a coward boy, playing as a thief, and stole many boys who were playing the parts of lambs. One after another, he took away almost all the boys and put them in the caves of the mountain and sealed the mouths of the caves with stones. Krishna could understand the trick the demon was playing. Therefore, he caught hold of him exactly as a lion catches hold of a lamb. The demon tried to expand himself like a hill to escape arrest, but Krishna did not allow him to get out of his clutches. He was immediately thrown to the ground with great force and killed, just as an animal is killed in the slaughterhouse. After killing the Vyoma demon, Lord Krishna released all his friends from the caves of the mountains. He was then praised by the friends and by the demigods for these wonderful acts. He again returned to Vrindavan with his cows and friends. Thus ends the Bhagavatam purport of the 36th chapter of Krishna, killing the Keshi demon and Vyomasura. So like the demigod, the coward boys are playing with him, and they see him do these things, and it's like, it's just Krishna. That's what he does. That's what he does. The demigods are all up there, and they have they've got front row seats, and they're sort of in the balcony, but they're front row, looking down and watching the whole thing. And for Krishna, for everybody else, it's like real. It's like real, but for Krishna, it's play. It's Leela. And they're all like, "Oh, Krishna, you're the killer of the Vyomasura demon, and thank you for protecting us," and all. And the coward boys, "Wow, that was great, Krishna. Yeah, hey, Krishna, let's see who can get home first. I bet I can run faster than you." They're thinking they can run. They're playing, but it's all done with love, and that's what Krishna likes more. I mean, you think about it, it would be much if you were in that position. Just imagine if I was God. No, that's what got me into trouble to begin with. But so I have to be careful when I start saying things like that in front of the Supreme Personality about it. This is just play. So, that everybody's always like, it's like that story of the pauper and the prince. You know that story? Where the prince is like very tired of always everybody worshiping him, and he has no friends, he has nobody to relate to. He can't just let his hair down, so to speak. So, but then there's this pauper that looks almost exactly like him, and they switch places. Mm-hmm. And only thing is in this case, the pauper didn't want to give back. He's now the prince, and he didn't want to give back the prince, but he gave him back his place because the prince realized being a pauper is not such a cool thing. But in this case, it's not a good example. That in other words, if you're always in that position, always being worshipped and treated, it's okay for a little while. If you ever hear some celebrity, whether it's a movie star or a rock star or whatever, you hear what they say in the beginning is pretty nice, being able to get into any restaurant and people, but after a while it gets to be a drag. You can't just be a regular person with your family and friends. You have to always be on your best behavior. Otherwise they take this awkward picture of you and write some crazy story about you. There's a price to pay for fame. And so when you're the Supreme Personality of God, you're the most famous. And people are worshiping you constantly with great pomp and circumstance. And he also wants to play with his friends. He wants to have, relationships. And because we have these things, they're there originally in God. Although we can't think that I can imitate God and go and meet other men's wives in the forest and so on. It's Krishna. I'm not Krishna, and I can't. If I could lift Govardhan Hill for 7 days on my pinky, then that would be something else. But Krishna's the the cause of all causes, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's a loving person. And we have an opportunity to revive our lost love, our real love, and our real relationship with Krishna and with everyone else. By chanting this Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama,
Hare Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare. There, I've done it. I've said it. I thought I was gonna have to. Anyway, does anybody have anything they'd like to say? Or yes?
It's interesting being humble to the point that people attacking your physical, and we should not respond in kind, but the devotee's responsibility is to protect other devotees.
Oh, right, yeah.
And that's where a fail can happen. But our responsibility is to protect our devotional creeper, our devotional life, which is the soul, the real us, the soul. So you can see that concept translate.
Yeah, well,
you're the soul, so you protect your soul.
The body is our vehicle in the temple, and we can't neglect it or not take care of it. Do everything in moderation. Don't eat too much, don't eat too little. Don't sleep too much, don't sleep too little, and so on and so forth.
And actually, when we were doing devotional service last night on the altar, we listened to the Bhagavad Gita on audio. And I think it was the 17th chapter was saying it's demonic to harm your own body, to neglect your own body, to torture your own body.
Unless
we could do, like don't
like,
eat and
you're
not
fasting
take
on a spiritual day like Janmashtami or Ekadasi, then that's for the pleasure of the Lord.
Yeah.
But if you're fasting for, I want to stop, something that's awful that's happening in society, then I mean, you may have a good motive, but it's not. It's actually not the proper way to go about it.
And it's a sharp, razor's edge thing that is this neglecting to eat so I can get this service done is different from just totally making a lifestyle of neglect.
Like with Colleen, Colleen's my wife, that she was she danced ballet, and so they are notorious for fasting and other eating disorders, so that they can be really thin, so they can look good to do this dance. But that is not something spiritual. That's actually in the mode of ignorance.
Mode of ignorance. Yeah. And it even said to the point of them.
Yeah.
So devotees should protect each other. If we see another devotee getting attacked unfairly, we should step in and protect them.
Right.
Even from another devotee.
Yeah.
But it's our responsibility to protect our devotional life and our devotional creatures. Yeah.
Especially to protect the deities.
And protect them.
Something else? Yes.
You said, do we have favorite pastimes?
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Do I have?
I ended up telling my own story.
Every time you think you have a favorite pastime, and then you read some other pastime and think, well, that one's not my favorite, I'll just read it really fast. But if you go into it, every pastime becomes your favorite.
Yes, I'm glad you mentioned that. Like go ahead, I'm sorry.
That's my point, I guess.
Okay.
All of them are so rich.
Right. Something you look at, I've read these already. Or I know this. Because I was trying to find out. In the verse it says, saving the coward boys from Varuna, and then the coward boys from the cave that they were put in by the son of Maya. And I'm thinking, who's that? I mean, it's not Brahma. Brahma put them in a cave, but he's not the son of Maya. And then I thought, maybe Aghasura. They said that Aghasura his mouth appears to be a cave. I looked it up, and he's not. He's the brother of Putana, but doesn't say anything about it. And then I found, somehow just Vyomasura is the son of Maya. And that pastime where he comes flying by and he sees them playing that game that I just mentioned. And so I was thinking, wow, I forgot about this pastime. I mean, it was so relishable, reading that story. And then, but also, to get to that story, I had to read the Keshi story. And then I had to read this pastime when Narada comes to him and starts to glorifying about future activities, which sort of was interesting because yesterday in your class you were talking about how Lord Brahma is telling Narada Muni about what's to happen later in the day of Brahma. And here's Narada Muni coming in the middle of the Krishna's pastime and saying, I can't wait for the day after tomorrow when you go into Mathura and kill the two wrestlers. And I can't wait to see it. I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be awesome. And he's still going on telling all these different pastimes. And I'm thinking, well, what's the point of this? Why are you doing that? You know? And then I found out it's like, of course, he's not a demigod, so it's different. Yeah, but
who isn't?
Narada Muni is not.
Isn't he the sage among the spiritual master among the demigods?
Yeah, Saktivesha.
Yeah, but he's not. He's a demigod, but he's not like an ordinary. He's also the sage amongst the devotees.
So Lord Chaitanya says he's a
Saktivesha avatar of bhakti. So, yeah, what happened to the warm weather?
It's not going to be here for a couple of days.
Yeah, we're in a
It's
cold
really cold.
Well, at least it had a nice day yesterday, huh? It was nice out on the card yesterday.
We're still doing.
So there was were we in a good part of the parade? Were there a lot of people still and everything?
What number? There were 32?
34, I believe.
34, unit
10
34.
hours on that thing.
But it took so long. To be in a parade, they have to set the parade up.
That's hurry up and wait. You get, and then you sit there in line.
Then they put
Then you have
bands.
to go up.
And they put a band in, and they put,
But
I think we were waiting to start for over 4 hours, just sitting there waiting.
yeah, that's the hard part.
And that's why they put a bathroom on the float.
That's the hard part.
That's okay, it was nice.
Yeah, but it was because when I was younger, I used to be in. I played the trumpet, and so I was in these marching bands in New York, and like I was in St. Patrick's Day, all the big parades in New York. So the way they do it is that there's all the side streets coming off of, say, Fifth Avenue, I think it is. So all the side streets. So you line up on your side street, but they go out like this. You know, so you're standing there, and it could be like early in March at St. Patrick's Day. It's cold.
Yeah.
You know, playing a trumpet.
Oh,
cold. It's hard with the mountains.
Armature, yeah.
You know, but anyway, you're standing there, But I was young, so I could. But I've been on the cart in New Orleans, and it's ecstatic. But there's also a lot of hurrying up and wait.
Yeah.
But you get the kirtan, you get the ways of.
Devotees around.
Yeah, the devotees around, and there was prasadam.
And prasadam.
And prasadam, yeah.
Great association. No, it was great. It was fantastic. Everyone had a good time.
Well, I'm glad you got the chance to do it.
Me too.
Yeah, I didn't go because I had a feeling somebody like you would come along so you'd have my spot. You're welcome.
Very generous.
No, thanks. I mean, no, it's great to hear that you... Actually, Auntie Sundari is the one that, according to Maharani, she's the one that guilt-tripped everybody into going because she went last year, and, only a few people went. So then Maharani went, Mahalakshmi went. There was like 10 or 15 devotees, huh?
Yeah, and some devotees from the New Orleans
Temple.
as well.
No problems.
Even one of the visitors went. The young guy that came.
Here?
Bryston. It's only his third time coming to the temple, and he heard about the float, and he went.
I didn't see him. I didn't meet him.
He's tall. He's about 6'something". He's a real tall guy. He went.
Tall, his black body, he's got a mess, he's got hair on his head. It's cut,
Oh, I
he's
think
tall.
I've seen that guy.
Yeah, he's
before.
styled.
Is he here now, or did he stay in New Orleans?
I think he lives down. He's been to Good Karma too.
He lives on
The restaurant. He's been to the restaurant. He lives on the coast.
So you're the one that got everybody to go, huh?
Really?
Is that on or off? Turn that off.
Okay.